Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Creativity Plus, the podcast where we talk about creativity plus other things. Tonight's episode is going to be creativity plus the moon. I'm excited about this one. I have a lot of thoughts and feelings about the moon, and I'm going to be discussing them with someone who is also very passionate about this subject. We've had a lot of male guests the last few episodes, so I think it's time that we switch things up a little bit and get some more feminine energy on this one. So I'm going to be speaking with Cassie Wolff, who's a friend of mine, who's also part of the same spiritual community as me, Self-Realization Fellowship. And Cassie, her background is a health coach, and so she focuses on helping people with meditation, with somatic breath work, these kinds of practices. And she's going to be starting graduate study and research at UCSD School of Public Health in the fall. So she has an extensive amount of knowledge and passion about cycles and the effects on our bodies, and in particular, women's bodies. So we're going to be talking a lot about menstrual cycles. So if that's something that triggers you, that's a big part of this episode. And if that is something that triggers you, maybe you should ask yourself why. And maybe this is the perfect episode for you to get over that, because it is fascinating. And I learned so much in making this episode and speaking with Cassie. And I hope you enjoy it. Here we go. Creativity Plus Episode 7, Creativity Plus the Moon with Cassie Wolff. Creativity Plus. Welcome, Cassie.
Thank you, Mary. I'm so excited to be here.
I'm very excited for our chat today. Creativity Plus, talk show where we talk about creativity plus other things. Today's topic is going to be creativity plus the moon, which I'm really excited to dive into because I have a lot of thoughts and feelings about the moon. And I don't know if other people feel this way, but I'm glad I have found a kindred spirit in you, Cassie. But I'd love to just begin. If you could tell me about how creativity has been a part of your life, and then along that journey, what got you interested in the moon? When did you start noticing it?
Yeah,
and its power.
I haven't always been creatively aligned with the moon.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was up until when I turned 25. As soon as I started tracking my cycle and realizing that I have more energy around certain times of the month, and I could really kind of capitalize on that energy.
Yeah.
So, but prior to 25, I always had felt pressured to adhere to kind of more of a masculine version of creativity, which is you wake up in the morning and you're productive first thing in the morning.
Yeah.
And then maybe you're productive 5 days a week.
Yeah.
For 40 days out of the month. And that's our masculine layout that we have.
Yeah. Oh God, I feel so seen. It's like, oh, like that struggle of like, if I'm not getting up every day, working, straight, and then keeping that up, that's like how I imagine it has to be if I'm like a creative person. But I do feel like it's like then this masculine version of it that we just assume is right for everybody.
Yeah, but it's really looking at your own time clock, because every woman, every man has their own time clock. And women have similar time clocks to themselves, and of course men have similar time clocks. Right, men are governed by testosterone and women are governed by estrogen. Women still have testosterone, but not as much. Men still have estrogen, but not as much.
Right.
So,
okay. You have gotten into writing, I know. So how has these two things, or this outlet, just choosing a specific outlet for your creativity, have you noticed how it waxes and wanes, or any alignment with the moon and influencing that?
Yeah, that's a really good question. Ever since I started my cycle journal, I've been able to really pinpoint where does my energy peak and where does it trough. And it's like a map. So I'll look at the whole month's journal and see, where does my language start to change? And where do my ideas start to get more elaborate and more dreamy and expansive?
Interesting. Yeah, that's interesting because you're talking about, the flows of energy through the cycle, the moon cycles. And it's interesting in something like creativity where it's not the same as, let's say, running a marathon, where it's like obvious, like when you have the peak energy is when you're the most, probably going to be running faster than when you're like hitting those like low phases. But I think creativity is an interesting topic or thing because the high energy might not necessarily even be the most creative, or those like low energy, in a way, the times when we're maybe physically not feeling our best, but there's a certain like mental state that we're in. Does that make sense? Does any resonance with you there?
Actually, when I was talking about men and women's hormones, so men are governed by testosterone. It peaks right first thing in the morning. So if you notice, men have erections first thing in the morning, right? I mean, that's so natural because their testosterone peaks, and women's estrogen peaks right around the time of ovulation.
Okay.
So that's when our creativity is the most accessible, I feel, in the outside world. But what you're talking about when your creativity starts to wane, that doesn't mean that creativity is gone altogether.
Yeah.
It just means that, for me personally, my creativity goes inward. I start planning and organizing, not executing. And creating in the outside world. I kind of draw in and access the inner creativity. So I guess there's an inner and outer creativity throughout the month that I can recognize and use to my advantage.
Yeah, I think that's so powerful, is just noticing. So, okay, go back to when you are 25 and you start tracking your cycles. And what was that like? What was like the ahas or the journey from there? What did you start noticing? What did you start learning?
That's a beautiful question. Yeah, so day one is when you start bleeding.
Okay.
The very first spotting, day one.
Yeah.
And then maybe your period stops around day 5 or 6.
Okay.
And then 8, 9, 10 is you're approaching ovulation. So that's your inner spring. And before that, of course, the period is your inner winter. Time to go in, time to process, time to rest and renew, rejuvenate.
Yeah.
And then once you approach the day 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, that's when you're really, your skin glows and your voice has a sweet note to it that people just want to hear. And your smile is so natural. And everything about you is different around that time.
That's the spring.
The summer.
That's the summer. Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
Spring, and then summer, it's time where you want to be around people.
Yeah.
You want to talk and express yourself.
Yeah.
A time to get pregnant, to, get into that creative force that Mother Nature has so naturally created for us.
Okay, and so then fall.
There's fall. That's a time to really kind of gather, okay, what have I created in this cycle and what have I not created? What do I want to use as fodder, as, like a compost? What needs to be kind of turned into something else? And
oh, that's interesting. I feel like tarot just has to come into this conversation. We're talking about the moon, and I know you're also a tarot enthusiast, but that definitely makes me think of the death card. Like that has this picture. Well, it actually depends on the deck. The deck that I use is like the Tarot de Marseille, and it has the depiction of death card is like a skeleton with like a big sickle, and he's like proving the land. So it's kind of like this sense of clearing out what no longer serves you, and like the way that you put it into the earth, like fertilize the earth for the crop for the next season. This idea of, like how do you essentially alchemize the things that are like, this isn't working? How do you either let them go to create space, or you like flip it so it's now something that's allowing you to grow versus like weighing you down?
Yeah, I love that. But not like letting go what no longer serves. And then keeping what you might use for the next cycle. So you're essentially recycling creativity too in that way, where maybe I haven't had a chance to accomplish everything I wanted, and that's okay. Moving on to the next cycle, but making sure that I'm really reaching back into my compost from last cycle, what I've allowed to simmer and what I've allowed to grow and sprout the next season.
That's interesting. So physically in the fall season, which I'm guessing is the luteal phase, is that what it is?
Yes.
Yeah. I learned that one. I was like, this is the one that keeps triggering you and like making you that, like understanding what that was and why all of a sudden my energy would just be gone, and like, anyways, yeah. So physically, I guess that's the period where our physical energy is like slowing down. It's like, wait, time to like take a breath here.
Time to really focus on your mental, emotional energy. Because as you have less physical energy, that can then be used internally to really focus on journaling and being creative in other ways that you haven't been throughout the cycle until that point.
Yes, it's so true. It's like different times, different, like we can be creative all of the time, every day of our lives, but then the specific outlet that feels right for that creativity will, going to change inherently.
I feel like that's why we have an epidemic of burnout and chronic stress and depression and all these mental health disorders, because women are so pressured in this society to be creative every day of the week. Maybe they rest on the weekend, so it's very ingrained. Having that patriarchal, masculine mindset.
Yeah.
It just keeps you going, burning the candle at both ends. Maybe the nighttime is for resting and sleeping, not necessarily looking at the season.
Right? Like, I need to take this week off. Like, I'm not feeling... Wouldn't that be amazing if we could actually take days like that? Like, it's just part of our culture that we could take rest when we need it. Because I think one of the worst parts of that structure that we're trying to fit ourselves into is that when we do feel tired, we feel shame around it. I'm just speaking personally, but I think I feel like other people probably feel this way as well, that it's this like, no, I want to do the work and I can't. It's like, I feel like I should work, but I don't actually want to work right now. Don't want to. I just want to rest, and like feeling bad about needing rest. I think that's a tough thing.
Yeah, it's not a great way to figure out where do you shine in life. What are you really, truly good at? Because when you're pressured to be creative in a time when maybe you're not creative, it could make you feel like, oh, I'm not good at this, or I'm just not well suited. And it can really take a toll on your self-confidence, self-esteem, and eventually mental health. So that's my dream one day, is to petition our government to really give recognition for that time off, because men and women, when they become parents, they get time off for parental leave, but women don't get time off when they bleed from their vaginas. I don't think that that's very kind, right?
I agree.
The most natural thing that occurs in this world is for us to give birth and for us to recycle our feminine energies each month through shedding, through that portal, that spiritual portal, and for it not to be recognized is really a shame.
It is a shame. It's like this feeling. Shame is the word that I think I felt like. It's like, I'm imagining when I was younger and like working as a software engineer. So I'm like the only woman on my team. Or there was one other woman, but it was just like, mostly guys, mostly men. And it's like, oh, I feel terrible. I can't focus. And not feeling like I could explain why. It's like, don't talk about your gross body, like afraid to, like, that would not be an appropriate conversation at work. It's like, what's wrong with you? It's like, well, I'm on my period. And I just felt like I felt embarrassed to like say that. And who knows, like there's a huge variety of men, and some are more, open and to talking about these things than others. But I just think that culturally we're
it's like, keep that messy stuff like behind closed doors. Like no one wants to see your mess. And I think besides the physical mess, we have, I'm personally speaking, when I'm on my period, it's like, it's not just mess in my body. It's like witching hour. It's like my mind is, you know, and it is a creative period, but it's a little bit, it's emotional. I mean, yeah, everyone knows about like when you have your period, it's like your emotions are so heightened. And you're like, why am I crying?
That sensitivity comes out. Really, your tears are a way to cleanse your emotions and cleanse your brain from the stress accumulation of the cycle. So when women are on antidepressants or if they're on other medications, maybe they, that mechanism that allows themselves to say, okay, it's time to cry is turned off. Yes.
Whoa.
But again, that's part of the culture we live in at the moment. These medications are very much needed. I'm not saying that we need to take an anti-pharmaceutical approach.
Yeah.
But just taking that into consideration too, that crying time is very much needed.
Yes.
Well,
I like
into that compost. The next.
you gotta water the soil.
That's what I'm saying.
Well, that's great to hear. Because yes, I do cry, and you know, it feels good. It feels good to have a good cry. But it makes sense biologically as this cleansing thing that it releases something. We actually feel our emotions. Yeah.
I'm glad you mentioned cultural aspects just a moment ago, because I wanted to mention that also another aspect of our culture is that a lot of men, they feel that it's okay to watch these gory shows where there's blood, there's murder.
Okay.
And that's okay.
Yeah.
But talking about period blood is not.
Right.
It's gross. It's, I don't want to even, they have this visceral experience of that's not for me.
Yeah, I know. And again, that adds to this feeling of like, we're wrong for just being our human selves, you know, just being a woman. It's like, no, we don't, that's not cool. It's like, yeah, just this, it really is this theme of us as women trying to fit into the male structure. I feel like we're already getting into this territory, but just talking about masculine energy and feminine energy, and you know, maybe women tend to have more of the feminine energy, men the masculine, but every person of course has both masculine and feminine energy within them, like flowing through. And I would be very curious on your thoughts on, you know, what do you think that balance should look like in a person, or how would you describe those energies? Just to be
It's a beautiful question. I thinking about how my partner and I co-lead my cycle. So he's always in tune with where I am in my cycle. He knows I'm on day 14 today. He knows that it is not the time to be intimate. And I think that he also has his own cycle, of course.
Yeah.
He revolves around the sun and I revolve around the moon. But when is his time to rest? And that's something that I'm still working with.
Yeah.
And when do I need to give him his space to recharge and to tend to his soil and his compost? And so those two energies are very much on a graph that they're not a straight line, like our society helps us to believe.
Yeah.
Right, with men and women, equality. Equality is very much needed, but we also have to recognize, okay, it's like this, men and women's energies. It's like this and like this. It can never be like this. And it gives me chills to think about that. That yes, we both are equal, but we're not equal at the same time, and that's beautiful. We're not equal because we're different.
Yeah. Right. Right. And I mean, and is even the individual as well, like having our own, like each woman is going to be starting her period on a different day. And, you know, there can be the general, what am I saying? I'm trying to say like advice for women, like we can all learn from each other, but I guess also making room for our individual needs and tuning into our specific body. Yeah. I guess, and because there's people that are on, the spectrum between men and women and like the masculine and feminine. Yeah, because there's so many people that fall in between those. It's like learning to understand your own cycle, and that whether you are more in touch with the moon cycles, the sun cycles, when do you tend to need rest, when you tend to like have that energy.
And then being in tune with the cycles of the women around you. So for men to be maybe in tune with, where's my friends? Where is she at on her cycle? Where's my aunt? Where's my mother? Where's my my best friend?
Yeah.
It just helps you to approach the person differently.
Yeah.
Right. If she's creative, if she's outgoing, I might try to bring some of that energy to the table too. Right. But if her energy is waning, if she's in her fall and summer, time of the cycle, then I'm going to tailor that for the woman. Yeah. If I'm a man.
Right. So how do you think that the moon affects men? Because I feel like we've thus far really focused on very specifically the menstrual cycle.
That's a really interesting question. I feel that that's a spiritual question.
Yeah, let's go there.
Because I feel that men experience the moon through woman. It's like the intermediary between the man, the moon, and the woman. So there's this energy at play that he gets to experience the power of the moon, not through the moon itself, because his body does not have that connection, but through his woman, through his mother, through his sister, through his cousin, through all of the women that surround him.
Interesting.
And then he is able to tap into his own creativity if he knows, oh, she's in the summer. I need to be around her because I can be inspired by that creativity.
Oh, interesting.
That feeds me. That will inspire me and give me the energy, really, and the fuel to maybe move forward on a project, or maybe he consults her. Maybe he knows that creative wisdom is going to be more present in her during that time. So he's going to want to
That's interesting.
time his interactions with the women in his life according to her cycle, so that he can access the power of the moon, because it would be otherwise inaccessible to him.
That's a really interesting take. I mean, definitely, yeah, you see this woman in like when she's really feeling it and she's channeling, right? That all that intuition and like that everyone
you can
feel
tell
that
someone is ovulating.
Yeah. I imagine that even men feel some influence when it's a full moon. I mean, I don't know. I imagine that it has some effect just like on a global level.
It does, yes. I feel that men aren't completely disconnected from the moon and its power, but his experience of it is only amplified through woman. So, but a full moon, absolutely. They're receiving those rays just as much as we are.
Yeah.
It's affecting them in different ways.
So besides like the menstrual and ovulation cycle, let's talk about new moons and let's talk about full moons. Like those energies, right? Will you speak to that a little bit?
Yeah. So your new moon, if you have your period on the new moon, you're a red mooner. That means that maybe you're not as focused on having children and home family life, but you're more focused on your goals, on your career, on who you are in the world.
That's me.
Maybe a businesswoman, as creative, as an artist. And then when you have your period on the full moon and you ovulate on the new moon, that's when, okay, I am harnessing the full fertile power of this moon. And maybe my mental energies are, yes, I want children. Yes, I want to build a home with my soulmate. So there's different, and then of course you're transitioning too. I mean, for me personally, right now we just had a new moon recently, so I'm a red mooner. So I have my period on with the new moon, because my boyfriend and I, we've picked names for our children, if I should say that. Anyway, talking about it, just expressing our desires for children. So it waxes and wanes, and we're at the end of the year, and I'll probably be transitioning next year to being a white mooner, right, where I have my period on the full moon, and so it's not all year long the same. So you're always in a transitory, and I could tell I'm transitioning now.
How can you tell? You just, is sort of an intuition that you're feeling?
It's the numbers.
Oh, yeah.
The calendar, if I start my period a little bit after the new moon, if it's not right on the new moon, then I can tell, okay, I'm shifting toward.
Oh, interesting.
Right. But for maybe 2, 3, 4 months, maybe you are right spot on with the new moon.
Yeah.
And then it will take a little bit for you to transition. And then, but just looking at the numbers and looking at the calendar, where's the
see it shifting?
Where's my day one? My day one is a moving target all the time. Every month.
Yeah. Yeah, this month for me was right on the new moon. I don't know, something about it feels special to me.
Yeah, I love the new moons. It's definitely it's the dark feminine. The time to go within and really look at past traumas. No, which the word trauma is, I think, overused these days, but I think it's a really beautiful word, actually. Trauma represents, what have I been through? What have I healed from? What do I still need to heal from? Yeah. And that's beautiful, too. If I have maybe an unhealed trauma, I try not to beat myself up over it. Yeah. Right? Maybe I have a lack of self-confidence in a certain area, but at least I can notice it as a symptom that I can work with, and not necessarily take the patriarchal Western mode of like suppress it. Yeah. Get rid of it. Yeah. But listen to it. Oh.
What is it telling me? Yeah.
Exactly. What is it trying to say?
Oh. Yeah.
The dark moon and the bright moon have their different qualities, and it's really beautiful when you get a chance to be in tune with your cycle and know, oh, I'm on day 14 today, and it's the full moon, and it's just such a beautiful time. And even if you're not looking to have children right then, which many women aren't these days, you can create something else. If I'm not making a baby, what am I making? Am I writing a book? Am I writing a vlog? Or am I starting a podcast?
Yes.
There's so many other things that women can do with their creative power than to birth children into this world.
Yes. And it's interesting to compare those two things. Like when you start writing, you start making stuff and like thinking of it like as these things that we're birthing. I think my favorite part of that metaphor is that there is this inherent like waiting period that when you make a baby, you're pregnant for 9 months. You can't rush that. You prepare for it and you care for your body, you know, and you get everything ready, and it's going to come, and you know it's going to come, but you can't do anything to make it come before it's ready to be birthed. And I think that anything that we make is kind of like that. Like, you know, obviously you put the time in and love into whatever you're making. Like, it's not going to happen if you're not ever showing up to it, but that if it takes an extra week, it takes an extra week. If it takes a few extra months or years to complete, you know, this book or something that you've been working on that you know you need to make, that's all fine. It's all had its own timing that it needed, like a gestation period in a way.
I love that. I love thinking of, you can't rush your creativity. Not taking the cycle one day at a time. And seeing, what does this day have for me? How can I use my energies in the way that nature intended, really, instead of fighting that plan that nature has?
Yeah. So, okay, we talked about the dark feminine, the new moon energy, and that's the time of the healing and the reflection and that sort of deep inner work. So let's talk about full moon time. What is that energy like?
Yeah, full moon is all about, what have I succeeded in this cycle? What can I be proud of in my abilities? And how do I really build on that? How do I congratulate myself? And how do I really lean on my own self-esteem? And maybe it's affirmation, maybe it's positive inner dialogue, but not looking so much for outside validation of what I'm creating.
Yeah.
Really hone in on my own voice. And and that's how I feel like I'm able to create what I'm able to create in this world, is by looking at my cycle by the day. And what day am I on today?
Yeah.
And when that full moon approaches, I have rested that previous winter. I've, chopped all my wood, and I've gotten all my, food I need prepared so that I can just be.
Yeah.
Just be in the moment. And
just like enjoying, like the word celebrating is coming to mind. Like it's, and as you said, it's not so much about showing off to other people and like needing recognition outside of yourself, but it's more like this internal like win, like I'm doing it, it's happening.
The recognition will come from the outside.
Yeah.
You don't have to seek it.
Yeah.
Once we build our creative fortress, our inner creative fortress, with full moon energies, new moon energies, we can't have the light without the dark. We can't have the dark without the light. So they both go hand in hand. They're both with us till the end.
Yes. That's such a good point. Yeah, in the suppression kind of mode, it's like only positive vibes, like when you feel things. You like want
right.
But there's so much good art comes from our dark sides, from the things, from overcoming those like struggles that we have, or even when you're in it, when you're still, you're not at the point yet where you like, oh, I see where that trauma was coming from. I see, I see that was just me being triggered. But when you're actually in the being triggered state, it's some really good art can still come from that. I mean,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I feel like there's a dark creative phase and a light creative phase. And that's really an example of letting the darkness in when the new moon is here, and then letting the light in when the full moon is here. So like really integrate the light and the dark.
Yeah. So what does that look like for you? Your dark creativity and your light creativity?
Yeah, that's a really good question. So around a new moon, I'll definitely go inward in my journal, and maybe I'll write poetry. Maybe it's dreamy. Maybe it's something that doesn't make sense in this material world. But it definitely has more of a spiritual quality to it, going inward and really gaining a better understanding of my mental state and my inner dialogue. How have I been speaking to myself this whole cycle? Sort of like looking at myself. And then the full moon, I'll look at, who am I surrounded by? Who have I attracted in my life? How do they talk to me? How do they act around me? What do they bring to my life? Do they enhance it, or do they take away from it? And so that's really, new moon is very solitude, serenity, quiet. Going into my cave, my inner physical cave, literal cave, and my inner cave, just really enjoying the dark, and even lots of meditation, lots of closing my eyes, and not using my face muscles to, right, when we're out in the world, we're like this, we're like just to completely let go. And I think that's what the darkness is for, is to let go, because you don't have to see, and not everything has to make sense in the dark, because you can't see it. Right.
Yes. Yeah, it's definitely the energy. I think of creating in that energy. Yeah, like you said, it's so much more spiritual. It's so much more magical. It's so much more like nonsensical and just like coming out of you, and you don't really see what it all means or where it's going. And yeah, and I can see the full moon creativity. You have a little more like integration into your life, and you see it more. It's like the thing that started as maybe in like manifestation terms, right? It's like in your mind, you see it inward, and then it becomes actually something in your world.
Right, around the full moon. Exactly. So you'll really start to dream of the picture. What do you want? in the full moon. Because if you can write that old adage, you can dream it, you can do it.
Yeah.
I feel like that's for dream it in the dark moon and then bring it to life in the full moon.
That's so
Love that.
this is all resonating so much. Like we just went through a new moon, the Sagittarius new moon, and I did like a meditation, like a guided meditation, on that day on Saturday, and it was so powerful. And what I experienced through that, it was like I was going to this other place. It's my cat. Excuse her. I feel. So it was like in this other like dream world. And it was beautiful, and it was like felt like where, I don't know, like home to me, or like the world that I want to like be in. And that it gave me the sense of purpose in my life as a human here on Earth, to kind of use art and use just my being, just embodying, as this portal for this magical world that I can like go into within, and bringing that about actually into this world. And so it's sort of like creating magic in this world. But it was so neat to experience it like in this really visceral way of like, it had colors, it had sounds, it had like this something that really changed, I don't know, how I see maybe my role in the world. Like, what am I doing here? And I think it's like being a portal for like this other other magic world to come in. Anyways, yeah, just all of this discussion about the dark energy, the like going within to this other more spiritual place. And so now I'm really curious, like, what's gonna be like on the full moon, like what's gonna be birthed from this
full moon coming up on the 15th of this month.
Okay. Yeah,
the last full moon of the year.
yes,
13 moons in a
yeah.
year. So beautiful.
Oh, that's interesting. So do you feel like there's going to be kind of a special significance to it being the last moon?
Yeah, I think that the sun has revolved its course, and it's time to really reflect too on the last 12 moons. What have I accomplished? And that's really a tradition, right, of humans, is to reflect and look back and keep track of time. We're so good at keeping track of time. I mean, if anything, humans are good at, we're engineers of time.
Yeah,
And
that's true.
so it's the end of the road for this year, and I think it'll be a really nice time to really collect all of the memories and really congratulate ourselves for how far we've come. I think this has been a challenging but blessed year for a lot of us. A lot of firsts, a lot of brand new energies that have come in. There's been a lot of couples and our personal community that have gotten together this year.
Yeah. A lot of, I think that this year has been a lot of like sowing the seeds, or like creating the structures and the foundations for things, and like the healing work is, those kinds of things. Whereas like I really feel like this next year in 2025 is going to be kind of where we start taking the actions. Like, it's like we've healed. Now, what do you now live? What do you want to do with your life? It's like you've done all the work of like laying that foundation for yourself and like healing the wounds that you needed to heal. And as a healed person, what lights you up? What brings you joy? What, just thinking like numerologically, like 4 versus 5, like 2024 versus 2025, because like four is like the most material number, right? It's like the strong foundation. It's like you've got the job that, a comfortable job, you've got a good friend group, or like these sort of basic needs as humans. And then the 5 kind of represents reaching beyond that. So like in the major arcana in tarot, the 5 is the Pope, who's like, in Catholic tradition, you need the Pope to go between you and God. So it's like you have the people, you have the material world, and then you have this person that's now this boundary that's able to communicate with the spiritual. So it's like now that you have all the basics of life, you're doing well, you're healthy, you know, what's the spirit calling you to do next?
Using your cycle, right, to lead you there. I love that. Once you have all the comforts of life, and even if there are challenges, it's okay.
Yeah.
Because you know that there's always going to be that spiritual realm to access through the portal of the new moon, to access even more abundance through the bright moon.
Yeah, that's true. If any of you listening feel lost, it's like, where are you in the month? Where are you in your cycle? Or if you don't have a menstrual cycle, where are you? Yeah, what's the moon doing? And you know, or what season of your life are you in? What season of the month? Noticing those cycles and where you're at can give you this like clarity and allow you to, you know, give yourself some space, give yourself a break.
Really anchor in the dark and anchor in the solitude and the stillness.
Yeah.
Because that's what recharges us, right? If we're running on empty, maybe we need some more darkness in our life.
Yeah, that's
some people think,
interesting.
oh, I need more light, I need more positivity, I need to do more things. And well, maybe we need to just sit in the dark.
Yeah.
Feel like we can see more in the dark too.
Yeah.
Through the senses rather than through eyesight.
Like through our spiritual intuition.
Yeah, spiritual senses are definitely very heightened in humans.
Yeah.
We just have to tap into that. And the moon is our guide, truly is.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just up there in the sky, like reminding us that there's something so much bigger than us.
The moon's like, by the way, you're mostly water.
That's such an interesting point.
Don't forget it.
Because that's why we have this pull, this like gravitational flow.
Yeah, and I mean, the moon is powerful enough to create currents and waves.
Yeah.
On our planet that is also mostly water. So really looking at how do I connect with Earth, and how does the Earth connect with the moon, and how are we all connected, and where do men fit in?
I've had a lot of guys on this podcast so far, so I'm happy to have an episode that's like much more feminine focused. Yeah, that topic in general of masculine, feminine energy, I think is so interesting because ultimately we are all souls, you know, like genderless souls. But we are humans, having a human journey, and how the masculine and feminine energies balance each other to like live a spiritually fulfilled life, I think is so interesting because obviously you can't have just one or the other. Like the masculine energy being the active force, it's like you need to take action, you need to do stuff, you need to have will power, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. There's definitely varying levels of masculinity and femininity that course through our beings throughout the month as a woman.
Yeah.
I feel personally my masculine time is around ovulation because I am using the force of masculinity to go out and accomplish and to do and to be and to talk to all the people, do all the things, and then time to rest, time to really anchor in the feminine too around the end of the cycle. Like I said, the fall and the winter. That's more my feminine time as well. And they're interchangeable. I mean, there's always just this beautiful play between masculine and feminine energies at every moment. Really, from moment to moment, we're interweaving those two energies together to create something beautiful.
Totally agree with that. Yeah, I think that the masculine and the feminine, it's like it's like the yin yang symbol, like the way that they flow into each other and contain each other. I think that the masculine needs to be guided by the feminine. So kind of what we were saying earlier, it's like when you're in that going within, it's like, what do I want to create when the full moon comes? What do I want to be receiving? You're tapping into that, the female intuition, the feminine energy there to receive, like your spiritual wisdom. And once you have that wisdom, it's not time to like just like hold on to that and just know it. It's like it's time to then flow back into the masculine and let the masculine's like determination and willpower see it through to completion. I heard it described as the masculine protects the feminine. And I just love that energy of like this like knight, you know, and the maiden, and like it's like, okay, you need this right now, this is what you want, this is what your heart's calling for. The masculine then is like, I will make it happen, do it, you know.
And the feminine inspires the masculine to keep going. She keeps the fires burning at home.
Yes.
She's tending to his needs and her own at the same time.
Yeah.
She's the nurturer.
Yes. And she's like, you need to stop. Because I think the masculine energy can be the like, I'm like, your body's like being like, ow, please stand, please take a walk. But you're like, I'm going to finish this, you know?
Absolutely.
And then there's like, but you need to have that sense, the intuition to be like, you're not actually getting anywhere right now. You need to go like, you need to go do some yoga. You need to heal. You need to take some, you need to create space.
She's the reminder.
Yeah.
She's the tap on the shoulder.
Yeah, totally.
Testosterone doesn't know when to stop. And that's inherently, we need that. We need, you know, in ancient times, we needed the masculine to protect us from the saber-toothed tiger, just to go out and do what it takes to keep us safe.
Yeah.
But our modern culture, not so much.
Do you feel like you've ever had a period in your life where you felt kind of like you had lost the balance between the energies?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Recently, I lost track of my cycle.
Oh,
it's not like me.
Yeah.
And my boyfriend, he lost track of my cycle too. We were about 3 days off, which is significant if you're a couple trying to avoid pregnancy.
Okay,
you want to make sure that you know to the day if you're using fertility awareness method as your primary contraception.
Yeah.
It just, things got busy. Day one hit and I didn't look at the calendar to see. So if I start day one on the 11th of the month, that's pretty easy to count because, okay, day 11 is day one, day 12 is day two.
Oh, yeah.
Right. And then when you hit, you know, day 20, then it's day 10. And then day 21 is 11. And
so yeah, this nice
and so
system.
forth. Yeah. But if I start day one on the 5th of the month, maybe my math isn't so, I have to really make sure I write that one on the calendar.
Yeah.
If I don't do that, or sometimes I'll beat myself up over it. If I forget, then I'll say, oh, it doesn't matter. But generally, always I'll internalize that number and say, okay, and there's the blessing of starting on the 1st of the month. I love it.
Oh, yeah. It's real easy.
I know exactly where I am.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think if I'm not looking at the moon, if I'm not making sure I go for a walk and really absorbing the moon's rays, just being, there's lots of studies that show your cycle regulates just by being around the moon. Your eyes looking at it, and the moon shining on your back, on your body. So if I'm not interacting with the moon, so to speak, going to the beach and seeing that full moon reflecting on the water, that's an experience that I take with me throughout the cycle. My body recognizes it. My body knows the moon more than my mind ever will. Right?
Yeah.
I'm literally made from the moon.
That's really inspiring. I definitely want to go to the beach on the next full moon. That does sound amazing. Oh, just so magical. Yeah. I'm just
dreaming.
I just love it here.
Full moon over the ocean waters.
Yes. Anyone listening to this, next full moon, let's all go. Go to the beach.
On the 15th
Go.
of December.
Yes. It's gonna be, yeah, that's gonna be magical for sure. Have you thought about any intentions on this last new moon that you're kind of like excited to see come into the world in this current moon cycle?
Yeah, I think it's the relationship with my mom. I'm letting that take its course. We've had some struggles. with spirituality. I've had desires. Oh, I wish she would come with me to my meditation temple, or I wish that we could say the same prayer at dinner. But letting that go, that's something that doesn't need to be in my compost. That's something that isn't going to sprout anything. It's not going to be receptive to my tears. So that's something I definitely need to do some weeding, and because our compost can grow weeds if we're not careful. I like to think of it that way, as a garden. And, we want flowers and food to grow there. So, yeah, I think that looking at those relationships in my life where I've built expectations around, how do I want this person to be? Or and that's really, I need to look at myself. How do I want myself to be around that person rather than me trying to change them?
Totally. Yeah, this time of year, there's so many family gatherings, so much. And yeah, it can be really triggering. And I think you're so right that the more we're able to just let people be who they are and not try to change them, like that's how you find the harmony. Because, the love is there. And sometimes it gets confused with these like other things that we want. But if we just focus on the love and let the other details be what they are.
There's a quote from a Swami in India. It goes, "Change no circumstance of my life, change me."
Yeah.
I love that. I'll say that if I'm struggling with someone. And that's all part of the inner dialogue as well, knowing what do I need to be told by myself in this moment? What do I need to remind myself? When I'm in that situation where, oh, I wish my mom would just be more calm in this moment. But looking at where do I need to be more calm? How can I show her more calm?
Yeah. I like this one. What would love do?
Oh, I love that.
Oh, yeah. Thank you for sharing that. It's a really beautiful thought.
What would love do? And that's essentially what would I do? What would my soul?
Yeah.
My soul is perfectly aligned with love. How can I tap into that wisdom?
Yeah.
Because all we are is love. And yet we're seeking it. So how can we seek what we are?
Right? When we stop seeking it outside of ourselves, it's like what you want, the thing that you want is you embodied in love. That's all we want. I heard this idea that we all as kids, every single one of us, had something happen where we abandoned ourselves. And we abandoned that, like, stopped being that love for whatever reason. Because, we're just in a society we have parents who are also humans and also make mistakes. And it's like, even if you had a perfect childhood, like, we get disconnected from, that love that we are. But it's okay. Because that's how we have this human journey of coming back to it. And when we return to it, we have so much power within us, because we can look back at all the things that we did out of confusion and did out of that separation from ourselves. And then we can turn that into more light and more love. It's all there ready to be like alchemized into...
I love that. Alchemize.
It's good. Yeah.
We're alchemists of our life.
Yeah.
Really.
Seriously.
Beautiful.
Yeah. Well, I end every podcast with the same 3 questions. So I'd love to move to our lightning round. First question, what is one of your favorite books, most gifted book, most influenced, a book that really changed you? And you can say a few if you come to mind.
Yeah, there's a novelist. Her name is Anne Patchett.
Love her.
Yeah, her memoir is called Getaway Car. And I love just even saying the name, it gives me chills. She talks about how she uses her writing as a getaway car, a way to escape from this world and create a new world that she envisions for herself. And that's so inspiring, just to see her inspiration really take off.
Yes.
So Anne Patchett, she's amazing. She has a lot of great novels too.
Yeah. I love State of Wonder.
Oh, yeah. Oh my God.
So good.
Amazing.
Oh, okay. Next question. What is a newish habit or activity that or life hack that you've started doing that you're like, I need to tell people about this?
Yeah, I think it's really unconventional,
Mhm.
but I've started showing my boyfriend my period blood.
Wow.
Hey, babe, come see.
Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah.
He sees blood all over the place with the movies that he watches, and I'm
Yeah.
like, I don't want you to see anyone's blood except for mine.
Yeah.
And every month, no, just a quick whatever that looks like. And it's just a beautiful way for him to really truly connect with that time of my cycle. For
Wow.
him to psychologically, mental, emotionally, and physically,
Yeah.
just to really honor and respect.
Yeah.
And in a perfect world, period blood would be given back to the earth, not flushed down the toilet, because ancient women, they would use it to fertilize their gardens. Because it contains so many rich nutrients, iron, potassium, and all these things. And
Yeah.
like, oh, well, period blood is actually a really beautiful thing to be honored, adored, and respected.
Yeah.
So that's one thing.
That's pretty cool. I'm impressed. It's all the things we were talking about of breaking down that like shame that we put around it because it's very natural. Yeah. It's beautiful. Final question. What would you tell your younger self? What advice would you give?
I think that the spirit is with me. I'm not alone. You're never alone, because of the times where I felt so lonely before I met my partner. I didn't think that I would meet anyone and that I would be alone and unloved. Because growing up without a father in the home, that's my trauma, is that I fear being alone and I fear being abandoned. So I would tell my younger self just to trust that you are spirit, and that spirit is not this thing that's outside of you somewhere, but it actually is within you and is your guide.
It's beautiful. Thank you, Cassie.
Thank you, Mary.
It's been a pleasure to have you on here. Before we wind up, is there any projects or things out there that you want people to know about, or do you have any social media following that you like to
Yeah,
plug?
I love writing microblogs on my Instagram page.
Okay,
You can
great.
follow me, Cassie.Wolff. Always
Perfect.
posting about daily inspiration and ways that you can connect with your body around
Love
the cycle
it.
and the moon.
Amazing. So everyone go follow Cassie. We'll put her handle in the show notes. So thank you so much. Thank you for being here.
Thank you, Mary. It's a pleasure.